Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Umbolde and today I welcome you all to my final presentation. So I'll start with a quote from Jordan Peterson. Free speech is the mechanism by which we keep our society functioning. The topic that I'll be talking on today is we should not use non-binary gender-neutral pronouns. So what is non-binary gender-neutral pronouns? Non-binary or genderqueer is a category of gender identity completely exclusive of masculinity and femininity. In other words, it's a gender identity outside gender binary and cis-normativity. And gender pronoun and non-binary gender pronouns are the pronouns referring to new genders. Okay, so I'll start with a question. How many genders are out there? Right, like a two and a deformity. But you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked to know that 63 new genders have been added, and for them, 63 new gender-neutral pronouns have been added. So this will be my agenda for today. Firstly, I'll talk about the preview, which will have an introduction, and then arguments, and followed by counter-arguments, and finally conclusion. The conclusion will have refutations and some suggestions. Many might defend the issue of gender-neutral pronouns by saying that they promote liberalism and also promote postmodern human rights. But the impracticality imposed by the issue and how it affects our lifestyle, workflow, and culture points otherwise. In my opinion, non-binary gender-neutral pronouns should not be used because, number one, mandating this violates my freedom of speech. Number two, wishes of minority should not override that of the majority. And number three, it's a valid threat to the basic foundation upon which we socialize. I'll now briefly mention the counter-arguments and then I'll explain them later. The counter-arguments might be, number one, non-binary people have rights too. And number two, we should be kind and compassionate towards them. So, let us now elaborate the argument. Number one, violation of freedom of speech. So, as humans, we are entitled to certain human rights. Freedom of speech is a basic and major one of them. It's the basic mechanism by which we keep our society functional. We are entitled to use the language we prefer, and we are entitled to propagate the perspectives and notions we have. But when you choose certain words and legislatively back them up, you are strangling my freedom of speech. You are choosing the words that I should say. What's the difference between me and a programmed robot if you do that? Number two, wishes of minority should not override that of the majority. Only a mere 0.4% of the entire population identifies themselves as genderqueer. And it will shock you to know that even a lesser amount of people want this drastic legislative change. So why should we integrate this drastic change? I mean, integrating 63 new gender pronouns in the language, then requiring us to memorize the 63 new genders and the pronouns, and then to use them individually for the 63 new gender types. That's tedious and it's illogical. Number three, this is a valid threat to the most basic foundation upon which we socialize. Our societal construct is based upon scientific evidences. Science proves that there are two sexes and gender is completely related to them. The hormonal and physical aspects completely prove that, but there are certain deformities. Many human beings have 6 fingers. But when you go for an MBBS degree, you will be taught that anatomically human being has 5 fingers because logistics cannot be based upon deformities. So a 1400-year-old language cannot be altered, or the basic socialization capability we develop from the birth cannot be altered based on reasonings that are derived from emotions. Okay, be logical. So now I'll elaborate the counter-arguments. Many might say non-binary people have rights as well, and also we should be kind and compassionate towards them, considering how they are harassed or how they are harassed. Okay, so I'll try to refute them. So refutation number 1 and 2. Refutation for number 1. To me, the highest value is truth, and one of the concomitant is that we should provide stringent protection for freedom of speech so that we might utter what's true and what's right. And to me, that's more important than mere emotionally deprived rights. And for number 2, kindness is an excuse social justice warriors use to exercise control on what others think and say. Rude but logical. So now I'll point out some suggestions. Suggestion number 1. I know. Suggestion number 1. This issue, how impractical it is, should be regularly brought forward, and it will certainly tame it down. Number 2, scientific evidences that incorporate gender to sex should be regularly brought forward and broadcasted. Number 3, there should be a requirement in the legislation for people not to use new genders or pronouns. And number 4, the impracticality of this issue, impediments to one of the reasons why legislation is impractically formed, and so a more pragmatic and practical reasoning should be integrated. So in the end, I will stick to my original idea that non-binary gender-neutral pronouns should not be used, because mandating this violates freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Number 2, wishes of minority should not override that of the majority. And finally, it is a basic threat. It is a threat to the most basic foundation of linguistic social rights. These are my references. All my argumentative topics and logistics were taken from some professors of University of Toronto and Harvard University, namely Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro. They are very they are very pragmatic and practical-minded individuals who are influenced by religion and science. And so, I share my opinion with them. You can check them out. So, with that, I'm ending my presentation. Any questions, please?
Any questions? Lenny, any questions? Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you.
All right, thank you very much.